Before I begin my story today, I want to say something important. If you believe in real stories, in honest emotions, and in lessons that stay with you long after the video ends, then make sure you subscribe to my channel right now. Turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a chapter of my journey. Every story I share comes straight from the heart. And if even one of them touches you, inspires you, or makes you reflect on your own life, then this space has done its job. Now take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let me take you back to a time that shaped who I am today. Hello everyone, my name is Nora, and today I want to share a chapter of my life that left a permanent imprint on my soul. Some memories fade as the years pass, softening around the edges like old photographs. But others remain vivid, almost alive, as if they are replaying in real time whenever you close your eyes. This story is one of those memories. It is about love, not the dramatic, cinematic kind, but the quiet, steady love that builds you from the inside. It is about family, about protection, about growth, and about the invisible lessons that guide you long after childhood ends. This chapter began when I was 18 years old, living in Italy, a country known for its breathtaking landscapes, ancient architecture, and streets filled with history. The city where we lived had cobblestone roads that echoed footsteps at night, balconies decorated with flowers, and golden sunlight that made even ordinary afternoons feel magical. As a teenager standing on the edge of adulthood, I thought I understood life. I believed I knew who I was and what the world meant. But looking back now, I realize I was still discovering myself in ways I could not yet comprehend. At that time, my family seemed perfect in my eyes. My father was a successful businessman. He carried himself with confidence and discipline, and he approached life with strategy and determination. My mother, on the other hand, was an accomplished interior designer. She had an artistic soul, the ability to transform empty spaces into warm, beautiful environments filled with personality. Together, they represented balance, logic and creativity, strength and grace. Despite their demanding careers, they never let their responsibilities take away from their role as parents. No matter how busy their schedules were, evenings were sacred. Dinner was never rushed. Conversations were never ignored. We were not just people living under the same roof. We were connected by intention. And then there were my brothers, Joseph and Anthony. They were twins, only 2 years older than me, but in my eyes, they felt like giants. Not because of their height or strength, but because of the space they occupied in my life. They were my protectors, my confidants, my unofficial bodyguards, and sometimes my biggest teasers. They had that rare sibling quality where love and laughter blended seamlessly. Growing up as the youngest, I was often called the little princess. At first, I rolled my eyes whenever they said it. But secretly, I loved it. It meant I was cherished. It meant I mattered. And even though they teased me endlessly, about my dramatic reactions, about the way I overthought everything, they were the first to step in whenever someone made me uncomfortable or upset. There is something powerful about having older brothers who make you feel safe in a world that often feels uncertain. I remember one summer afternoon so clearly. The sunlight poured into the living room, casting long golden lines across the floor. I walked in to find Joseph and Anthony completely absorbed in a movie. Their attention was so intense that I had to wave my hand in front of Joseph's face, just to get a reaction. Anthony tossed a pillow at me in response. It was playful, chaotic, and warm. The kind of moment that feels insignificant at the time but becomes priceless later. I sat between them, and within minutes, we were laughing. We commented on the scenes, predicted plot twists, argued over characters. At some point, the movie became background noise, and our conversation took over. That afternoon wasn't extraordinary. Nothing dramatic happened. But it captured something essential about our bond. Presence. They were always present. As I moved through my teenage years, life became more complicated. 18 is a confusing age. You are expected to be mature, yet you are still figuring out who you are. Your reflection in the mirror becomes both familiar and foreign. You start comparing yourself to others, friends, classmates, strangers on social media. You question your body, your personality, your worth. There were days when my confidence felt fragile. Days when I changed outfits 3 times before leaving the house, because nothing felt right. Days when a single comment from someone at school lingered in my mind longer than it should have. And somehow, they always noticed. Anthony had this calm, steady way of speaking. If I was doubting myself, he wouldn't dismiss my feelings. He would listen. Really listen. Then he would say something simple yet powerful like, "You don't need to shrink yourself to fit into anyone's expectations." Joseph, on the other hand, approached things with humor and practicality. If I was stressed about how I looked, he would confidently pick an outfit for me and say, "There. Problem solved. Now go and own it." It wasn't just about clothes. It was about learning to stand tall. Between the two of them, I learned something invaluable. Confidence isn't loud. It's built quietly, through reassurance, through acceptance, through knowing that even if the world criticizes you, someone believes in you. Our evenings were filled with board games that turned into competitive tournaments. We would exaggerate rules just to win arguments. Sometimes we stayed up far too late, whispering stories in the dark, talking about dreams, fears, and plans for the future. They shared their ambitions with me, careers they hoped to pursue, places they wanted to visit. And they listened to mine with equal seriousness. They never made me feel small for dreaming big. As years pass, you begin to understand that family bonds are not defined by grand gestures. They are built in repetition, in the consistent acts of care that become routine. The way someone checks if you got home safely. The way they remember your favorite snack. The way they sit next to you when you are quiet, without forcing conversation. From Joseph and Anthony, I learned about boundaries and respect long before I understood those words fully. They were protective, yes, but never controlling. They supported me, but they also respected my individuality. They taught me that love does not mean possession. It means empowerment. That lesson has stayed with me into adulthood. When I started forming relationships outside my family, I unconsciously measured them against what I had grown up with. Was there respect? Was there encouragement? Was there presence? If not, I recognized the imbalance more quickly than many people my age. Looking back, I realize how fortunate I was. Not everyone grows up feeling supported. Not everyone has siblings who act as mentors and friends. Sometimes, we only understand the depth of what we had once it becomes memory. Italy itself became intertwined with those experiences. Whenever I think of narrow streets lit by evening lamps, I don't just see architecture. I see us walking home together, joking about something trivial. When I think of summer air drifting through open windows, I hear our laughter echoing through the house. Time has a way of moving forward whether we are ready or not. Adulthood brings responsibility. Careers, distance, new chapters. The dynamic shifts. But the foundation remains. The greatest lesson my brothers gave me was this. Love is an action. It is showing up. It is listening. It is protecting without suffocating. It is guiding without controlling. As I grew older, I began to understand my parents differently as well. Their busy schedules were not signs of absence. They were expressions of dedication. They worked hard not just for success, but for stability for us. Watching them balance ambition and family taught me resilience. Today, when I reflect on that chapter of my life, I feel gratitude more than anything else. Gratitude for ordinary days that became extraordinary in hindsight. Gratitude for siblings who stood beside me through insecurity and growth. Gratitude for a home filled with laughter. If there is one thing I want you to take from this story, it is this. Do not underestimate the quiet moments. The evenings spent together. The small conversations. The playful teasing. One day, those will be the memories that anchor you. Family is not perfect. No family is. But when there is genuine care, when there is respect, when there is consistent presence, that foundation becomes unshakable. So as you finish listening to my story, I want you to think about your own life. Who has been your steady presence? Who has supported you in ways you may have overlooked? Have you told them what they mean to you? Sometimes the little things create the biggest impact. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this story resonated with you, if it reminded you of someone you love, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. There are many more chapters of my life waiting to be shared, each one filled with honesty, reflection, and lessons that continue to shape me. Until next time, cherish your family, nurture your relationships, and remember, Real love is not just spoken. It is shown every single day.